Hey, what's up guys, it's Greg, and welcome back to my next video in my medical journey. Today we're going to be talking about the results from all of the medical tests that my oncologist had scheduled during my first appointment. The tests came back over the span of about a week and a half. The tests to come back first were all the imaging. So the CT scan, the PET scan, and this was going to be showing essentially, all the places that the cancer was in. We were going to finally get a finalized picture at the extent of any sort of metastases or spread of the lung cancer. So seeing these results, we saw these results at the next appointment. And basically, the extent of my cancer wasn't actually as bad as what we thought. Typically, lung cancer patients with a pericardial or pleural effusion, the cancer is, very, very widespread and many times very hard to treat. So specifically regarding my results, the primary tumor where they think the cancer actually originated from was in my right lung, and at the time of the scan it was about a little bit larger than the size of a golf ball. That was the largest tumor. So I know that may sound large to some people, but that actually isn't that large compared to what some patients are facing. So in addition to that primary tumor, I had tumors throughout both sides of the lungs, clustered together, for the most part fairly small. And then in addition to those tumors, there were lymph nodes that were, for the most part, all enlarged pretty significantly. And then as far as metastases outside the lungs, I had a couple lymph nodes above the chest and on the lower part of my neck that had also been enlarged, including the one that was on the right side of my neck that we got biopsied. A few days later, we received some of the results from the biopsy. And with the biopsy, they essentially take that tissue from the tumor and do tests on it to figure out what exactly is making it up. So there were two parts of the tests that were going to come back from the biopsy. There was I guess you could say, a more basic analysis done on the tissue, and then additionally there was a portion of the tissue sent actually to a third-party lab that was going to perform the genetic testing on the cancer. This is extremely important, because if they can find a genetic mutation within that tumor, there's a potential that they can find a targeted therapy that will work for it. Back in 2017, a targeted therapy was essentially the best option for a prolonged quality of life and long-term survival with stage 4 lung cancer. The results coming from the genetic mutation were going to take the longest to come back. Fortunately, we did receive some of the basic testing results, and the big thing that we received from those results was essentially this biomarker in the tumor that was showing that the tumor expressed high levels of what they call PD-L1, which is basically a checkpoint inhibitor that is used by the immune system. So when it said my tumor expressed a high amount of this protein and nucleic acid, PD-L1, it meant that my cancer potentially might work with an immunotherapy drug that uses this biomarker to locate and fight the cancer. The immune system uses this biomarker to tell the immune system where the cancer is and then go fight it. So this was immunotherapy was a very new treatment option at this time in 2017. But as I said, I just basically explained how it worked. One of the the contributing factors that could determine if it was going to be successful or not was how much of the tumor was expressing this PD-L1 biomarker. My results showed that it was about 90%. And the nurse who was reviewing the results with us said that that was the highest she had ever seen expressed in a lung cancer tumor. So this was really, following the imaging results that we got, this was even more positive because it potentially gave me the chance, just a chance, at long-term survival. Now that we had the test results, our oncologist started talking to us about where to get the treatment. We were currently in Kansas City, going to a cancer center there, but my oncologist, readily admitted that they were not the best place if we were going to do immunotherapy. He mentioned that it was still very new, and they obviously they didn't have as much experience as a larger cancer center might. He said that we could do it, but with any cancer treatment, there's always there's always the possibility of something going wrong, something making the patient very sick, and then it's up to the cancer center to troubleshoot that. And if they don't have a lot of experience in using the drug, that can be a problem. So he mentioned that he had a friend in St. Louis that works at the large comprehensive cancer center there. And when he said that, Maureen and I almost nearly jumped out of our chairs, and we said, we can go there. We can make that work. I grew up in St. Louis. All my family and relatives were there. So to us, this could be a very viable option to go there and get the immunotherapy and be surrounded by a world-class team of doctors. So we left that appointment actually getting a referral to an oncologist in St. Louis at the big cancer center. So I'm going to go ahead and leave off here now that we've gone through at least the visual imaging results of my tests. And in my next video, I will be talking about the tests from the biopsy, talking about the genetic mutation, as well as our first appointment in St. Louis. So, any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.